All right, let's come back into the studio and welcome my guest. Deputy Government Spokesperson Shamima Muslim is here. Shamima, good morning.
Good morning.
I trust you're well.
I am. Grace abounds. And Happy New Year. It's actually my first appearance on the channel.
Yeah.
Yes.
Happy New Year
Good
to you.
to see you.
Many happy returns.
And thanks for the rice. Actually, during the Christmas season, it's actually very nice.
Yeah, thank you.
I mean, it was surprisingly so.
Yeah.
Yes.
You didn't believe Ghana rice could taste that good, huh?
You know, so I really don't know where the myth about Ghanaian rice doesn't taste nice is all about. I think we need to really bust that myth. So just try it. Try locally made, produced rice, and you will really be shocked at what you find. And I tell people,
what I brought to you was EVV rice.
EVV rice.
Yeah.
I loved it, absolutely. So please keep doing the great works of value addition.
Thank you. We will.
Eating Ghana.
I've not brought you our oil, eh? I have to bring you our oil. We have a soybean oil.
Oh, okay.
So I'll bring you the soybean oil.
So well done to you and your team.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
And good morning to our viewers as well.
We also have the General Secretary of the Convention People's Party, Kwame Nkrumah here, Esquire. Kwame Nkrumah, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Trust you're well.
Yes, it's good to be back after. I think the last time was in November.
Yeah, it's been quite a long time.
So Happy New Year.
Yeah,
I also want to welcome my sister here, my mate from Legon, to Joy.
Oh, okay.
And I want to find out from you why I didn't get
EVV. I'll get you EVV, don't worry.
That was media connection.
Okay. And the Dean of Accounting and Finance Faculty at UPSA, Prof. Isaac Body, is also here. Prof, he is a customer of the brand. Prof, good morning.
Yeah, morning. How are you?
I'm well.
I have used your product for a while. You gave me one, I tested. It was good.
Yeah.
So I have recommended.
And since you've been buying,
I've been buying.
And connecting me to other businesses.
Shamima once told me I should tell you that she was here 30 minutes before all of us.
It's so unfair. This makeup thing you people have to always get us to say. And you've done well. But I used to interview Prof too.
Oh, okay.
Some time back at CFM, yes.
Then today maybe I have to give you that time for you to interview him again.
No, today they have plenty things to talk about. So you ask me the questions.
Okay, let's start from cocoa. Why are you not able to pay for cocoa that you buy from farmers? That we are being told that you owe them 10 billion cedis now.
Who is saying that?
Why are you not able to pay cocoa farmers?
Who is saying that? Is it the minority that's saying that we are not able, we should pay cocoa farmers?
How much do you owe cocoa farmers?
You mean it's the New Patriotic Party minority that has made this statement? I hope I get some time. Good morning, dear citizens. This morning on this particular matter, I want to address a few things, but to speak directly first to our cocoa farmers and to extend President Mahamad's continuous support and appreciation that the cocoa industry has remained the backbone of Ghana's, economy for decades, even centuries. And for that level of contribution to our national economy and well-being, we can never underestimate the role cocoa farmers play and continue to play. So we say thank you to our gallant men and women of our cocoa industry. Secondly, I would want to speak to dear citizens this morning as we all soberly reflect on the states of COCOBOD and our cocoa industry. I say so because it is important for citizens to understand the industries that have wide-reaching impacts on their everyday lives. Because when an economy does well, it does well for all of us. A good economy is a sum of its various parts and its various sectors, its various industries, all expected to contribute optimally, and optimizing gains for citizens and reducing pain for citizens. As a political philosophy, that is the ethos of our ideology, a social democracy that works for the mass of its citizens and ensures equitable distribution of national wealth for the well-being of the Ghanaian. And so there's no doubt that at the onset of the 1992 Constitution, the Fourth Republic, which the NDC won, cocoa industry has always been key to the viability of the economy. However, and to be fair, certain practices over time have eroded the strength of that institution. What worries me is that the period during which the cocoa industry experienced the most regression in terms of its ability to produce optimally and to provide our farmers with what they were due is the recent New Patriotic Party government under the leadership of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo and Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, who has been re-elected to lead the NDC.
The NPP, I beg your pardon. That the minority,
Led by the Honorable Athenyo Markins, who recently had to rush from a press briefing to join his colleagues who had literally abandoned him to appear at the house of the newly elected flag bearer. That the same minority leader who said to the hearing of all Ghanaians that they are happy that now the minority can get direction, because in the past year, under his own leadership, the minority side had literally been clutching at straws to survive, in the words of the Honorable Athenyo Markins, that the majority, the minority side, had basically been clutching at straws to survive. Tells you what they mean when they say that they are going to engage in responsible opposition. And this is why, as citizens, we must truly understand, who means well for this nation. If you take our Resetting Ghana manifesto, the abridged version on resetting the economy and creating prosperity for all, we indicate, as President Mohammed's vision, that the top priority for our government, the NDC government, will be to implement the following measures: reduce hardships, ensure macroeconomic stability, restore fiscal and debt sustainability, restore investor confidence, prioritize investment in productive sectors for sustainable economic growth and decent jobs. And to that, we did indicate that we will be doing a number of things, including scrapping some levies and also ensuring that our essential industries are supported. This has been the guiding principle of President Mohammed's administration, to safeguard our economy, because we had inherited a collapsed economy. And I'm going to briefly take you through the state of the Ghana COCOBOD, since that is the subject matter of conversation now. Before 1992, the cocoa industry was largely financed, was financed pre-1992. Cocoa industry was financed mainly through domestic borrowing and what they called cocoa bills. After 1992, under President Jerry John Rawlings, the NDC moved away from this cocoa bills funding to the syndicated loan system from 1992. In fact, I hear Cal Bank was the local bank that was ever able to even mobilize internally a syndicated loan for a particular buying season. So even then, it was possible that we could support local banks to be able to come up with, the monies required for purchasing cocoa beans during the buying season. 32 years, Kojo, we have managed, in spite of the challenges that the industry has largely faced, we had managed to every year secure a syndicated loan for the buying season. That also ensured that we're able to pay our farmers every year until 2024. Who was the minority leader as of 2024?
But 2024, it was a deliberate policy that they would want to do
it was
locally.
not. And I think as media, we must, we must go behind the scenes and not repeat the propaganda that has brought us, where we are now on our knees.
So why was it not?
Why
was it not?
I'm going to go into that. So obviously at 2024, the COCOBOD was literally, was basically on its knees and was unable to secure a syndicated loan. If they tell you that they were looking internally, it's a blatant lie and deceit of the Ghanaian people. In fact, it was such crass lies that led to their inability to secure any loans externally for that buying season. It is those particular lies that ensured that they delayed in purchasing cocoa beans because the buying season had opened several months before they were able to come up with what is now the current, form of purchase. So if they tell you that they decided to look internally, it was a lie. They could not. They had defaulted on their previous commitments to buyers. They had defaulted, they were in debt. They had rolled over several contracts from previous years that they were not able to honor. And they had brought literally the cocoa board to the point of illiquidity.
So were they able to buy cocoa beans or not in that particular year?
So as of 2024, and that is a significant timeline to note, for the first time in 32 years, Ghana was unable to secure a syndicated loan for the purchasing season. Those are clear indicators of the effects of years of mismanagement of the industry.
But what matters most is not being able to buy the cocoa. That matters most. And were they able to buy in 2024 or not?
They were not able to buy as much as they should. And I will tell you quickly what else they were able to do. So in terms of currently, let me backpedal a bit. As of 2024, Kojo, the world market price for cocoa was $10,000 per ton as of 2024 during the last year of the NPP administration. What they offered farmers then was $3,100 per ton. As we speak today, world market price for cocoa is 4,000 tons. And the
$4,000?
Yes, $4,000. The NDC offered farmers $5,040 per ton. And currently, because of the CD strength, the farmer price is $5,270 per ton. COCOBOD, for this buying season, and please, it is critical that we take note of these figures, projected to purchase 650,000 metric tons of cocoa.
In 2024?
In this buying season, 2025, 2026 buying season.
Okay.
We have projected production for the year at 650,000 metric tons. So far, with hardcore evidence, we have managed to buy 580,000 tons. Please, we projected 650,000. We have bought up from our cocoa farmers 580,000 tons. This works to about 90%. And yet we have up to September, which is the close of the buying season, to mop up our target. We anticipate that we would even be able to go beyond this projected production target. So it is not a widespread problem that government or COCOBOD is not buying cocoa beans.
No, they're not saying they're not saying you're not buying.
And I'm going to go.
They're not saying you're not buying.
The minority is trying to engineer a certain narrative.
No, if
Yes.
you read, they didn't say you're not buying. They say you are, but you're not paying the farmers. You've taken them on credit, but you're not paying them. That's the argument.
So that is also a bit of a misrepresentation of the facts.
Okay.
Because all the farmers respectfully, as well as the license buying companies, are well aware of the current funding model, which was 60-40, but now 80-20. The off-takers, the model that we have now, because we are logged in to previous contracts, somehow we're able to negotiate for our clients that we owe, because we are logged into contracts with them. We're able to get them to pre-finance. Now,
but a little on the
Yes.
on the price, on the world market price. This one is COCOBOD, GhanaCOCOBOD.gh. It says that on the futures market, Ghana has traded for over 50 years price, moving from $2,000 in March 2023 to over $10,000 in February 2024, before dropping significantly to 6,246 in September 2025. So there wasn't a constant figure in 2024. There was volatility.
what I said to you was that at the beginning of the season 2024, where minority leader Afenyo Markin was minority leader, what you have said is not different from what I have said.
No, it
I
means
said
so
that by the end of 2024, cocoa was sold at 10,000. At the time that it was being sold at 10,000 per ton, they were offering farmers $3,100 per ton. That is not disputed.
Yeah, but
so I don't want
the cropping season starts from September, not so.
I don't know what the point is. Are you disputing the fact that there was a point?
No, I just want us
because I need to let
the listeners know
there was
that.
a reason why the NDC thought that the cocoa farmers deserved more at a time. As for volatilities in the cocoa industry, it has always been there.
Okay.
Because the cocoa industry is one industry that does not lend itself, in terms of the models that they have used thus far, to automatic price adjustments like our energy sector, like even GoldBoard. GoldBoard has, automatic price adjustment. And into the future, we must have these candid conversations about what financing model should work. Because COCOBOD does not have automatic, price adjustment, so that when world prices go up, you can get a windfall, and then you pay, farmers more. And when world prices, come down, we all bear the brunt of the effects. Either government comes in with some subsidies, or we find a way of paying the economic price for, cocoa. As at the end of 2024, this was the state of COCOBOD. The total debt the NDC government inherited under the minority-led Afenyo Markin Nana Bawumia government was $32.91 billion US. If you brought that to Ghana cedis, it will be 10.6 billion Ghana cedis in terms of commitments in the 2025-2026 years. For rollover contracts.
So give me the value again. So 2024 debt was? The
debt, total debt inherited was $32.91 billion US.
Okay.
Yes. And of that, we also had $481 million US in commitments for the for due in 2025-2026.
Okay.
Rollover contracts of 333,768 tons, which was pegged then at 2,661 per ton. Those who understand and know these things know that these are the correct figures as we came and inherited. Unfortunately, they delivered only 235,300 394 tons of the rolled over contracts.
Okay. Of
And
300 and...
Of 333,769. And using the 2024-2025 production purchased at producer price of 3,100. So in 2024-2025, that was a rolled over contract into 2025-2026 years. So there alone, you see that we had to cough up 103, $103 million to top up to pay producer price as to farmers. So I'm going to go through, these are the things that have led to the compounding debt situation of the COCOBOD, especially as at end 2024.
Okay.
Now, the debts and revenue loss due to this rollover contracts, because they could not honor the obligations under those contracts. And yet they took monies. So we keep asking, where did the monies go? You took monies to provide your clients with, these volumes of cocoa beans. You were unable to provide it, and there's no money sitting in your books that said, because we're not able to provide it, this is the money we would use to finance the next season to be able to meet our obligations.
This is 2024?
So, this is the 2024-2025 season.
They took money, but they couldn't.
They did not deliver on their commitments. And that is why we are logged in and trying to clear these contracts, because we are bound to deliver on those volumes.
Help me understand here. Now, earlier, you made us understand that they couldn't raise syndicated loan, right?
Yes.
But again, here, they've taken money from their client to supply, they couldn't supply.
Yes.
So how did they do it? You look for a syndicated loan and also take money from your client?
No, they didn't get the syndicated loan.
Okay.
If they had gotten the syndicated loan, it is COCOBOD that finances it. So COCOBOD would take off from licenses, buying companies, and will pay them, and then sell to our off-takers.
Yes.
Do you understand?
Yeah, I get it.
Yes. So that was the model then.
Yeah.
So we get our money from the bank and we pay
the
our
LBCs.
They pay farmers. Everybody is happy,
Yeah.
and we sell and we take our monies back and make our margins, and we pay off our loans.
Yeah.
They didn't get that.
Okay.
So they had to get into an arrangement with the buyers.
Okay.
To agree to, you bring us some money, 60-40, bring us some money. When we pay the farmers, we would pay you, or we would, give you your products. And that's the model they were using up until now. So,
let me just announce that we've been joined on the line by Fifi Boafo, who is a former PR of COCOBOD. I'll go to him after you're done.
Yes. So total debt outstanding for COCOBOD as we speak today is 25.37 billion. Total in US dominated debts is $513 billion, and in Ghanaian debt is $19.62 billion.
So in US, it is $513 billion.
Yes.
Okay, and then in Ghana cedis?
No, in US, the total debts in Ghana cedis is 25.37 billion cedis.
25.37 billion.
In dollar-denominated debts, it's $513.10 million.
Okay.
Dollars.
Okay.
In cedi-denominated debts, it's 19.62 billion Ghana cedis. And it will interest you to know that as part of the broader NDC government agenda of President Mahama, we are trying to pay off debts so we can have breathing space. Ultimately, we should be able to return to the international market and be credible and trustworthy enough to raise syndicated loans to finance, our cocoa industry. Ultimately, we should be able to work with stakeholders to agree on new funding, financing models, looking at perhaps automatic price adjustments, in tandem with what is happening in the international market.
Okay.
Ultimately, we should be able to sit around with stakeholders, as we are seeing with GoldBoard, and ensure greater value addition. Because if we had local industries that could offtake these cocoa beans and produce them into all kinds of cocoa products, we wouldn't be worried so much. So let the facts show that as of today, we've done 90% of our projected, purchases. And we are hoping to mop up the rest. Let me also tell you, in all honesty, and if we can be candid with each other, we do know, and the LBCs are very much aware, that the major problem we have today is the costs per ton in our neighboring countries, which is way lower than what we are, paying for. So
is it above
the buyers, the neighboring cost is lower.
Okay.
So Côte d'Ivoire price per ton is way lower than what we are paying. They're paying about 2,000 thereabout for cocoa.
Okay.
We are offering farmers around 3,000, 4,000. What did I even say earlier? 5,000, I beg your pardon. So if you were a buyer, and we are expanding buyers, if you were a foreign buyer and you have alternatives, cheaper alternatives, that's where we really are now. I'm saying to you that because what has favored us even with these prices is because we are locked into contracts with people from rollover, with companies that have rollover contracts with us. So they have to meet us halfway and take their cocoa beans, So as we complete that process, they will not be willing to come and pre-finance, cocoa purchasing with prices higher or steeper than neighboring countries. So where we have it now, we have it on record that some individuals are even purchasing cocoa beans from neighboring countries at the cheap price and also instigating this conversation to sort of force government's hand respectfully, because government has two options: either to subsidize the purchase, pay the farmers and make a loss and look for money to plug that hole, or ask farmers, okay, let's reduce the prices and make it competitive so that we can sell off whatever is remaining of your increased production. So it's either we have increased production beyond our expected production levels, or some people are beefing up their local products with foreign products with the hope that if pressure dawns on government to say introduce subsidies, they now get to sell back to government what they have bought at cheaper prices to government of Ghana at higher prices.
But the issue isn't about isn't about your inability to buy. It is the pain that is
but this is what I'm explaining to you.
But if
the pain is you are paid after the people have come to pay. So if the people say they are not buying what you have currently at this price because they have alternatives, they are just trying to get the little they can of their outstanding contract with you. Whatever surpluses they think they want to purchase for this year, they are looking elsewhere for it. This is what I'm telling you.
But if I'm the one buying from COCOBOD, I'll only look elsewhere, say to Prof. If Prof is selling to me at, say, $6,000, but you are selling to me at $10,000. But on the world market price, the price is standard. This is how much I'm buying from you. You are then deciding how much of it you give to your farmers. So I'm struggling to understand why me, as someone who has given you a contract, would want to leave you and go and buy from Prof. Unless, of course, maybe I'm not getting you.
But I also don't understand your question.
Because what you're saying is that if the people who have given us contract and then we have to give them, we're not able to fulfill.
Yes.
So we have to do the remainder.
Over that
Good.
Contract. So remember,
I want us to build a point. So we all have the same point, right? Yeah. That there's a remainder on the contract that you have to do for me, right? And you're saying that because other people have also bought cheaply from Ivory Coast, they are forcing your hand to either decide to sell to me or to just clear off, and then I'll look at another source to buy the rest? Is that what you're telling us?
And is there confusion in that?
If there is a confusion in that, then my question comes in.
Yeah.
That why would I be willing to go and buy from COCOBOD when I'm buying from you on the international price at the same price?
No. Okay, so I don't think that's how it particularly, works on the ground, because what pertains to us currently, there are two streams of, buyers. Those that have existing contracts and new buyers looking to buy cocoa.
Okay.
Especially premium cocoa, because Ghana's cocoa is premium,
yeah.
and we keep having the balance of that. And so for those, people who are in the second stream, new buyers, when you send, you publish your offers and they look at it, I'm saying that this is the problem we have with the current the existing gap of payment.
Okay.
We are waiting to receive, even some have received their products, they have not completed the 20% remaining payout to the government.
Okay.
So we don't deny the fact that some farmers are yet to receive their full payment.
Okay.
But we're explaining that it is because we have not yet sold off.
Okay.
The license buying companies are receiving cocoa bags from farmers when they haven't as yet. So they are dumping their cocoa bags in anticipation that they will also sell off and come and pay them. Until they sell off, they don't have liquidity to come and pay off. And I'm saying on record that the debts they left behind, the COCOBOD has paid substantial amount of those debts. And if I had gotten the statistics, I would have shown you. But the reasons why we are where we are, number one, cocoa roads. Number two, the investments we made, contracts we gave out to cocoa road, the jute bags that we have purchased to last for like how many multiple number of years that we don't really need, that we are still, committed to pay. The exchange rates volatilities, I mean, for COCOBOD, it's an export entity. And so whereas we are happy that the cedi stabilization has also positively affected our existing debts, we also have lost substantial amount of potential revenue as a result, because it was, I think COCOBOD had pegged it at 15 cedis to $1, and today we are doing like 10 cedis to $1. So there are all of those vulnerabilities. Okay. It is the height of disingenuity for the people responsible for the near collapse of our cocoa industry to today be wanting to make politics, accepting no responsibility on their part for where we are. The question they must answer is, why were they unable to raise a syndicated loan that would have solved this problem for 32 years were able to do? Why is it that under them, during their last year in office, that is why they exited? Okay. The MPC is not deceiving cocoa farmers. It will be very foolhardy on the side of the NDC to have promised cocoa farmers what we never intended for them to receive. Okay. And so it is in our interest that we are able to meet the demands and the needs of cocoa farmers. Like you said,
let me put your question
to peg the purchasing price, producer purchasing price, at the levels that we did. Because at the point that we made those estimates, we thought our cocoa farmers deserve better, and they still deserve better. Okay. Like Ghanaian workers.
Let me put your question to
Fifi. We have told Ghanaian workers that what we are paying you is not what you deserve, because you deserve more. Towards the beginning of the year, the president has, pleaded with Ghanaian workers to please take, a little percentage increment in their salaries, because we are trying to reset the foundations of our economy. It means we are tightening loopholes. It means that we need to, rein in the economy, make it work before we begin to, realize the full
let me bring in Fufu to answer the questions that you've been asking. Vivi, I'm grateful to you for joining us. why were you not able to raise syndicated loan in the year 2024 that we understand is partly to blame for where we are today?
That is inaccurate. It is inaccurate because government took a decision. And before I even go into government decision, I think it is one of the conversations that has taken place in our media space for so long. Anytime COCOBOD will go for syndication. And the question is, why must COCOBOD always go for a syndication after 30 years of doing syndication? So government took a decision that can we find different means of raising funds for the purchase of cocoa. And I think we took a decision, and the decision was that we'll have a discussion with the off-takers who will bring in money, this 60-40 model, and make sure that we buy cocoa, avoid going through the syndication model, which was costing us a minimum of about $54 million in terms of interest, and use a different means of buying cocoa. To those who say that not going for syndication is the reason why we are here, refer them to 2024-2025 cocoa season. Indeed, in 2024-2025 cocoa season, is the same model we are using today. That's the model we used in 2024-2025. And indeed, let me state that 2024-2025, NPP managed a bit of it, and the NDC managed the remaining part of it. We did not experience what we're experiencing today. So it is not because the funding model has changed, and that is why farmers are not getting paid. It is because some negligence on the part of the new managers of COCOBOD. That is why we are here. And I find it very, very worrying listening to Shamima, my sister, explaining why we are here. I know Shamima doesn't work at COCOBOD. She is only stating these information, sharing out this information because she has been briefed. And the worrying aspect is that the true situation has been hidden from Shamima, who is at the presidency. So she does not appreciate the enormity of the problem, the real situation we find ourselves in, the hole that the new management have dug and put us in as a country. The presidency is not getting the information.
Well, we'll get a Fifi, but we'll get a Fifi. But she again says you left a debt that they had to come and pay. For example, you gave contract of more than 333,769, but you were only able to supply a little over 200,000. That was a debt they had to pay.
I think that people at COCOBOD, the chief executive, and the people who work at COCOBOD now, must get this thing. They were not appointed to go and enjoy the perks of office only, but they were appointed to and take responsibilities as executives of the cocoa industry. They make it look like this is the first time where COCOBOD has issues. Indeed, in 2017, when the management of COCOBOD took over at the time, COCOBOD had syndicated for $1.8 billion, which was meant for the purchase of 850,000 metric tons of cocoa.
Okay.
At the time management took over, the 1.8 billion had been expended with cocoa purchases around 500,000 metric tons. Did the management of COCOBOD at the time say that, they use all the money, so the cocoa industry must grind to a halt, farmers will not get paid? No. Management had to find a means of paying cocoa farmers and getting the industry to run, and not grinding to a halt like we are experiencing today.
But that doesn't make it right, Fifi, does it?
I am making a point.
Okay.
If you indulge me. Unfortunately, I had to stay on for about 14 minutes listening to Shamima, even though I'm not in the studio and I have to engage other media houses.
Okay.
I am only making the point that if you are a manager, your responsibility is to take on the situation and find solutions to it and not to always continue. Why did we have rollover contract? Randy Abbey makes it look like as if rollover contract is a novelty now. Rollover contract, my memory serves me right, has been part of COCOBOD for many years. This is how rollover contracts are like. Every year, COCOBOD will have a department go out there and do a forecast. The forecast will project probably 850,000 metric tons, 600,000 metric tons. That is the basis for COCOBOD to go out there and contract with buyers. Sometimes the forecast, they get it wrong. And when they do get it wrong, and for example, they project that, okay, we'll produce 850,000 metric tons. And at the end of the year, if you produce 650,000 metric tons, it means that the contract you have signed, you will not be able to deliver all that contract. So what you do is that you roll over those contracts and you repay based on cocoa production the subsequent years. So it is not new. Indeed, in 2017, when the NPP administration took over, there were several of such rollover contracts, and even one of them, the company took COCOBOD to arbitration. COCOBOD lost the case, and COCOBOD had to pay 7.5 million euros. So if Randy Abe makes it look like it's the first time there's a rollover contract, and because of that, somebody has done something terrible, and everything must be explained with rollover contract, I am sorry, he has a responsibility, and he should stop lamenting and address the challenges they face. They are talking about debt. The debt they are creating now will be the worst cocoa industry has seen. And let me go straight to that point. Management of COCOBOD. Shamima was talking about the fluctuations within the cocoa pricing system. Yes, it happens. And that is a reason why every year, before the producer price review committee was set a cocoa price, COCOBOD would have done substantial forward sales of cocoa to know that, okay, if we have sold, for example, 70% of the crop, we know very well that, okay, this is how the average F will be achieved. So with the 30%, 20% remaining, we can safely project that this is how much we will pay the cocoa farmer. And these are the other industry costs. So if we give the farmer this amount as the farm gate price, we will be able to pay the cocoa farmer. Unfortunately, the politicization by the NDC of the cocoa industry, they decided not to do the forward sales anymore, and they described it as a bad policy. Came in and decided to sit and sell cocoa at the spot price. This was against sound technical advice that if you just wait and sell spot, the market will overtake you and you lose out. Unfortunately for us, this happened at the time where the world market price is at the all-time high. We have seen prices hovering between 9,000 to 12,000. And they said no, they were not going to sell. The admonition at the time was that make sure you take advantage of the price. And indeed, even at the time, they were announcing cocoa price. The world market price was over 8,000. They refused to sell forward at that time. And they have waited till today, where the world market price of cocoa is around 4,300. Just do a small calculation. If we have 500,000 metric tons of cocoa unsold, and the price has dropped about $4,000, multiply $4,000 by 500,000 metric tons. And I'm not giving out these figures out of my head. I know exactly what I'm talking about because I know the stocks they have available, which they have not touched, and how much they are expecting to come in. So you multiply 500,000 metric tons, multiply it by $4,000, and that is how the recklessness on the part of the management of COCOBOD has caused us as a country. Instead of addressing this issue, they just want to at least blindfold us with, oh, there was debt, there was debt, there was debt. That it was not as a what we are facing today is not as a result of that. What we are facing today is because management of COCOBOD set cocoa price at 5,040. Instead of making sure that they will be able to sell cocoa, make the $5,040, pay the cocoa farmer, pay other industry costs. They sat down, engaged in needless and unnecessary fight and power struggle between the chief executive of COCOBOD and the managing director of the cocoa marketing company did not pay attention to what was happening on the market, stood, watched negligently. So this time where cocoa price has dropped to 4,300, what then will happen is that any contract signed at this time will not be able to pay the 5,040 that the farmer and the industry cost is required to service the industry.
Okay.
So now they are unable to sell.
So what should be the way forward?
We have hundreds of thousands of cocoa in warehouse and now they cannot sell.
So what should be the way forward?
Shamima told you what the problem is and what is the way forward. Because of this negligence on the part of COCOBOD management, we either have to ask government to shore up the difference by subsidizing or reducing the cocoa farmers' price. Two things. I do not think that the cocoa farmer must suffer because the farmer is not the one who decided that despite established tradition, the cocoa marketing company must have a cocoa board staff and a cocoa trader heading the institution, giving technical advice to the chief executive. The farmer is not the one who decided to go and bring a presidential appointee to come and sit there to fight the chief executive, such that a critical part of COCOBOD, the sales executive committee, that is supposed to set price. Because the chief executive is fighting the managing director, they can't have this executive committee meeting to look at the trends and decide that we must sell at the right time to make the best out of the market for the Ghanaian cocoa farmer.
All right. Okay, I'm grateful to you for joining us here.
Let me make a point.
Former head of
should just go back to the figures he was quoting. At a point, he was talking about COCOBOD owing $34 million and then converted it, and then it becomes $34 billion. Then she converts it and it becomes $10 billion and all that. That is not accurate. The COCOBOD net debt at the time of the current debt at the time is not the figures she's quoting.
At what time?
They've given her a lot of figures. She may have to take a time and go through them again. But Kudo, to make the point, we are here because the management of COCOBOD negligently failed to take advantage of the market price. And why did they even fix the price at 5,040? It is because they knew that they will be able to achieve that price. Okay. And you can only do that when you have done some sales, and that sales will guide your decision. So where they took the decision without knowing that this is how the market will go.
Thank you.
And for which reason they have stood on, looked on unconcerned, allowed the price to drop from 8,000 to 4,000, and now they are asking the cocoa farmer to suffer for it. And for 3 months, management have not been able, together with their board, they've not been able to fashion out a means of addressing the problem.
I'm grateful to you.
They can go on and go to the people at the presidency, like my sister Shamima, and give them a different story. But the truth is that they have allowed the price to drop from 8,000 to 4,000, and now they cannot sell because when they sell, we will lose.
I'm grateful.
And why would we allow this to happen to us?
I'm grateful to you. Fifi Boafo is former head of public affairs at COCOBOD. So he says it's because we didn't take advantage of forward sales. That's why we are where we are.
It's very rich what Fifi Boafo has just done, and that's what they're going to do. They're going to engage in aggressive attack and distortion and the clutching of straws so that they can fudge the matters and remove, scrutiny from what they did. Let me announce and say clearly that they left a debt of 32.9 billion cedis. That is what NPP left behind when they exited.
Oh, it's 32.
And it was 9 billion in total cedis. I was breaking it down into our commitments in dollar terms and in cedi terms because some of our debts is in dollar terms as well. Kojo, he easily said that rollover contracts are not new in the cocoa industry. That is true. But let me tell you what happened between 2016 2017 upon the exit of President John Dramani Mahama. and by end 2024-2025. And what we've been able to do from 2025 to 2026, fair-minded Ghanaians, in 2016-2017, because it is true that you're dealing with a human, institution, agric is volatile. You can make estimations or projections and you fall, below. But what they have achieved before they left was a 45% off the mark of their last projection. I'll come to that. In 2016-2017, we had rollover contracts worth 68,000 and at the price of 2,668. The producer price then was 1,924 in 2016-2017. In 2023-2024, who was in government then?
MPP.
They had moved rollover contracts worth 68,000 to 160,570 at a price of 2,774. 2024-2025, which is really the watershed moment, when they could no longer sustain the fluke and the deceit of even their foreign partners. 2024-2025, from the 160,000 the previous year, they went to 235,393,929. From 160, rollover contracts ballooned to this amount. Now, when we came in 2025, 2026, because we are servicing what they left behind, 2025-2026 year, rollover contracts are now standing at 98,374. These are facts. So when we are trying to clear up your mess, you don't stand on a moral high ground that you have no basis to stand on. And I was just going to say that quickly, that he said,
let me bring in the other.
Yes, I know.
It's been you and I and then Vivi.
I won't talk again after this one. But just to correct a lot of the misinformation that he went behind, he just shared on national TV. The 33,000 rollover contracts was about 45% of our total crop for that season. 45%. You don't go off your projection by 45%. 10-15% profits here is reasonable. You go off your projection by 45%. It does not make sense. And so we are saying then that your forecast, COCOBOD, went off by 45%.
How much in total were we going to buy? How much
you cannot miss that. I'm saying that their rollover contracts of 330 was 45% of the crop. You don't not fulfill 45% of your projection. It means there was something wrong. And the current, it is a lie that they wanted to look within. They could not secure a syndicated loan. They could not secure it. And that's why we are where we are now. And again, I said it that it is not true that COCOBOD is not buying. Why these kinds of lies? The farmers that we have bought from, they know. And I've just given you the figures. These are the volumes that COCOBOD has purchased from our farmers through the license buying companies. We have purchased 650,000. We have projected 650,000 tons. We have purchased 500. We have sold, actually.
No,
we have sold 530,000.
He didn't say you're not buying.
Listen to what he said. He says that we are not
selling.
No, we are not selling. So and I'm saying that we have sold 530,000 tons of the 650,000 projected. And that's why I'm telling you that we've done 90%.
Okay. All right.
So we are hoping to complete 30%, the 10% by the close of the, but let me let him know that we are aware of what they are doing behind the scenes.
Much.
The instigations they are, instigating farmers, sympathetic to the MPP cause.
Thank you.
The businessmen who are the doyens of the cocoa industry that are today piling up cocoa beans from Côte d'Ivoire at a low price of 2,600.
I'm grateful.
Pushing for government to subsidize so they can bring these in.
I'm grateful.
We are watching them, and at the right time.
Some time ago, you used to do this.
I know.
Prof, please come in.
The will not be allowed to stand.
Okay, Prof. I mean, you've listened to Shamima, you've listened to Fifi Boafo.
Sorry, I took a lot of the time for him. I won't talk again. So
what do you make of, this whole battle that COCOBOD owes farmers? The government is saying that it's because of the past government. The past government says no, it's because of your own doing.
I don't know how many minutes left for us to continue.
A lot.
As for a minute. Okay, so on this one, I can afford to give you 5 minutes to break down the issues for me.
Shamima and
sorry,
taking all the time, but that was a good conversation. I mean, I must be honest with you. It's a simple discussion. 3 characters here: government, farmers, and then the international market. Let me also be honest by saying that government inherits assets and liability. This is to be forgotten. Only in government, you inherit assets and liabilities. But often we praise the assets, but when it comes to liabilities, sometimes we try as much as possible to find several reasons. When government is appointed, they often have good intentions. I must be honest. The situation is, this is the situation. Gold is international products. It's not sold in Ghana. It's international markets, and we often receive dollars.
Yeah.
So a product that you don't control prices, you only control quantity and extraction. When you're doing politics with such a product, you have to be very careful. And this advice to all governments. Our cocoa, our gold, and the rest of our non-traditional product that we sell the international market, we have to be very careful we don't play politics with. Because when you're put to test, you have a problem. When there's a change in the international market, you have a problem.
Yeah.
We only control quantity and extraction in Ghana. But the price of that product is being controlled in international markets. Now there's a core stress here. The core stress here. We have a nice way of estimating this cocoa price and all that. Dollar revenue from the sale of cocoa times exchange rate should give you enough to cover what you pay to farmers. That's a simple arithmetic. Dollar revenue you generate for sale of cocoa times exchange rate should give you enough to cover to pay your farmers. So I was happy when my good friend Shamima indicated about 4 reasons why we are here today. He said cocoa rose. He said contracts. She said the juice bag or so.
Juice bag, the one that...
Yes, I was writing those ones. And finally mentioned exchange rate, and I was happy. Let's take the 4 things she mentioned a bit, because those are contracts, a part of the liabilities that must be catered for. But what we don't control is the exchange rate issue factor here. And for me, we are where we are today because of 2 things. When you artificially induce your exchange, your rates, the exchange rate issue factor here, and which you mentioned, and you have a problem with the price in international market, you'll be brought to this level. Okay, let's look at the numbers. I've indicated that it's a product sold in the international market. So today, how much are we paying, government paying farmers? It is 5,534 or so. If you convert that money to cedi, it's about 58 3,000. That's how much the government promised paying farmers.
Because at the time it was $8,000 on the world market price.
Good. But now international market is 4,300.
Yeah, which is below what we said would be
4,300. So there's a gap of $1,220-something per ton. That's a gap.
Yeah.
So the discussion here is, what should the government do now to make up the difference? That's the conversation. So the farmers will be happy. So they get the equivalent of 58,000. But the cedi today is 10.5 or so. If you multiply by the 4,000 plus the international market, that gives you about 45,000 in cedi terms. If the cedi had been 15, then you'd have gotten 64,000. Giving you the same formula I gave you, the dollar revenue from sale of cocoa should multiply by exchange rate. That should give you how much you should pay to the farmers. And this is where we find ourselves. So the question, all these discussions, yes, they are good. The past government, current administration, at the end of the day, that farmer is the one suffering now. Whether it's MPP who is influencing the farmers, they know their situation now. I am thinking, let's find a solution to resolve this problem. What must the government do to avert this crisis so we don't have further problems? The gap of 1,225, where are we going to get money to pay the farmers so that there won't be any problem? But per my checks, we can only do this if we want to pay through reserves for them, or through borrowing, or through delaying payments, or having a proper negotiation with the farmers. Look, we have this amount to be added to your payments per ton because of the price change in the international market. Can we do an arrangement? Or do we borrow? Or do we take reserves and take care of? So we should rather be looking for solutions.
Okay.
Because if we want to spend all the time, we blame the previous administration, or the previous administration also blame the current administration. The farmers there are still struggling.
All right. Thank you very much. Let me bring in lawyer. Oh, I have two lawyers here. I have two lawyers here. Let me bring in Gov't.
Lawyer Boats,
You know, we in the...
How do we solve the challenges?
From what I've heard, is that the government, since the beginning of this month, has started paying the cocoa farmers. That is what I've heard, which is good news. This blame game will not help any of us. Indeed,
They started paying from the beginning of this month.
this month, yes. That is what I've
So,
heard.
can you confirm for us that you indeed started paying them?
They've been paying them for a while now.
Yes, from the beginning of this
month.
month.
The buying season started.
Yes, yes. So I think the period that they went without pay was from November up to about maybe end of January. So we are making progress now. We are making progress. And I listened to Mr. Boafo, I listened to Shamima, and I think figures don't lie. I saw some of the figures on Shamima's laptop. And I believe that somewhere in 2024, 2025, the previous administration, that's some around 2024, the previous administration decided to cease using the local syndicated loans and depend on international borrowing. And as regards international borrowing...
No, is that borrowing? They're saying buyers.
International
so give
buyers,
us part of the money, let's buy and then...
Yes, and the demand was for them to bring 60% deposits, which they believed was
enough,
too high. So I think there was a policy mistake somewhere, or maybe some projections did not fall in place. Be that as it may, it should not be something that should affect the cocoa farmers in this way. Because since NDC came into power on 7 January, they managed to pay them up to November. You understand me? So I would say that we also need to know how they're able to pay them up to November and yet could not pay them for December and January. Was there also a policy, let me see, was there a projection that did not also bear fruit somewhere? We need to investigate that. Our research has shown that, yes, indeed, the NPP did some of our projections, but we also need an explanation. I hope Shamima can explain to us how they were able to pay up to November, but missed December and January. Because if you are saying the blame lies entirely on the previous administration, you were able to pay them for 11 months. So what happened in the interim? Because I think 11 months is a long time within which you should be able to put things in place. But then it's still early days yet. We all know how important the cocoa sector is to us. And I mean, I always refer to the 7-year development plan. And
so just
if you are to look at page 53 of that development plan, it says that it states that the money to finance all the revolutionary advances made in the modernization of Ghana has come almost exclusively from agriculture. And then it goes on to say that within agriculture, the cocoa farmers have been the real heroes of this achievement. So this country is built on cocoa. This country is built on cocoa. And the moment we have such scary situations like this with the cocoa, then we should know that we are headed for disaster. This country is not built on gold. Okay. We do have gold, we do have everything, but we shouldn't be tempted to neglect the agricultural sector because of the temptation of other sectors coming up. So okay. I think as much as I'm convinced with Shamima's analysis and her figures, the current COCOBOD too should not be complacent. We should try and find ways not to repeat what has happened.
Okay.
So a good morning to yourself, to your lovely viewers, and to my colleagues here. I think we have been overly critical. I don't know how the people on the ground are going to understand what we are saying here. As in, we will keep on saying rollover, and people will be confused. You see, the long and short is cocoa is financed, either through syndication, as in over the years, through loan syndication. We've done that for like over 30-something years. So we go and borrow money, usually every year about 2 billion. And then the essence is that under Ghana law, it's only Ghana government that can export cocoa. Yeah. So they buy all the cocoa from the cocoa farmers and then they export. Or government also finances cocoa sometimes by what we call forwarding contracts. Yeah. So what they simply mean is that I enter a contract with you, I'm going to supply you X amount of cocoa. You bring substantial sum of the money at an agreed price. Yeah. You understand? And then you supply. The dangers with the forward contracts is, let's say you agree $1 today. If you delay, you understand? If you delay and probably there's a rollover. And so the rollover simply is that you are unable to deliver what you said you are going to deliver. So maybe at that time, the price may have gone up. The cocoa farmer wouldn't care, you understand? You have to give the cocoa farmer the price that is
in the market price, yeah.
Now, last year, when His Excellency John Mahama came to give a State of the Nation address, he mentioned the cocoa sector. At that time, he said the cocoa sector was in debt up to a tune of 32.5 billion Ghana cedis. Yeah. And he also mentioned a forwarding contract. As of that time, he said the forwarding contract, we have been unable, even though we had received, we've been paid, we were unable to deliver up to 333,767 tons of cocoa. Yes. We were unable to supply. Yeah. So when Shemima was saying roll over, in simple terms, what she simply meant was that the amount of cocoa we were obligated to supply per contracts, let's say in 2023, we were unable to supply all, and there was supply arrears of up to the figures she was quoting. In this case, the arrears paid, what His Excellency John Mahama told us was 333,767,000. But you have received enough monies that was supposed to enable you to supply. It was common commerce. When you are taking advance, usually the advance is enough to take care of what's called the operation. So what you'll be waiting for will be a bit of your profit. As if you are doing business with wisdom. So the issue is, why were they not able to supply, even though, because when we say 333,760, what it means is 5.2 million bags of cocoa. So let's break it down so people...
45% of the crop that season.
So as people understand. Now, I know that we say that, and so I was telling my sister Shema, we say we are a country who has as one of its fundamental principles in our constitutional democracy, the principle of probity and accountability. There must be serious audit, serious investigation into why this huge shortfall. These are politicians, what they do, they cover up for each other. But when you cover up and cover up, your political opponent will use your covering up as a propaganda tool, weapon against you. And that's what is happening. You understand? Secondly, we also need to interrogate what caused Ghana being blocked from the, from the Brewers market, the syndicated loans. We should also query, because we didn't, out of our own volition, decide that enough is enough. We don't want to go into. That's what COCOBOD said.
The COCOBOD said they decided that they won't go for it.
They did not decide. Balance around that time. There were term sheets and things. We shouldn't. You see, that's why I'm saying that. Unless you have come, you have given your powers. Part of your mandate is to pursue probity and accountability.
And
so if you sleep on that,
AG assures us.
If you sleep on that, then they will use it as a tool, weapon against you, and that is what is happening. We need to interrogate into what caused our being blocked from the city. Because you see, Ghana cocoa is premium cocoa.
They lied.
It was so it had so much credit, and it was so rich that a lot of people have swarmed around our cocoa. Because they syndicated the banks, they were making money. And they were making money because you know that when you buy Ghana cocoa, it will be sold. They will take us away their chow. You understand? But the way Galamsey was managed, the way the economy itself was managed, the fact that for whatever reasons we were unable, because you see, so they buy cocoa, we know that the price at the world market is not what they give the farmers. We give them, the reason why in fact they were smuggling, people were smuggling, was because of the price in Cote d'Ivoire against the price in Ghana. So why are we indebted to a tune of 32.5 billion? We should interrogate. We should, yes, but I'm talking out of that time.
Yes.
Out of when we should interrogate was the cocoa rows. To extend that people, they allow people, they give kind of people to supply juice and they pay them. They've bought juice for like 20 years. Why? Why? The cocoa rows. We brought procurement law in Ghana, so that there will be some principles that will guide how some of these contracts, critical contracts, are done. One, our cocoa rows, are they done? When you go to the social areas and those areas, our cocoa rows done. And yet contracts have been given, people have been paid. We need to interrogate. And lastly, my view is, in fact, it's not just my view, it's the whole UP's party view. We need to look at our cocoa economy model. We need to have a real look at the entire model. Some of us have been calling one for one. So in terms of how cocoa purchase is financed. Two, is it the right time for us to start talking about deregulating the cocoa sector once again? And when I say deregulating, it should not just be government that has the power to export. We should really look at that. You know, they've been doing something, you do cocoa bonds. In fact, we should even really look at, and all these things I'm saying are in our great transformational plan. You understand? To the extent that we should even flow some shares, COCOBOD shares, some on the stock exchange, all to raise
all right.
financing. But at the end of the day, my day born. Kojo, I'm also Kojo.
It's a great day.
A very great day. We should interrogate how come you had monies because of what's called a forward contract, and yet couldn't supply up to the tune of 5.2 million bucks. And this government must take it seriously. Otherwise, they'll use it as a weapon and court disaffection for them.
But 5.2, have we even supplied more than? Okay, anyway.
You see, there are three bad options here.
We need to end this one. We have some few time left.
Three bad options.
Let's go on to this discussion. We have plenty to say.
Can I just...
Shemima was given all the time to...
It's already 8:32. Why there are no other topics?
Three bad...
The Kotoka issue is... I'm not speaking about
Kotoka.
It's already 8:32.
What are you doing? Hold on now. I am here.
Okay, thank you.
Three bad options for this administration. And it's sometimes may be economically painful or politically toxic if they take the three routes, as I indicated. If the decision is to borrow to show up the difference, you end up worsening your debt situation. If you also decide that, well, let me delay payments, you are likely to have unrest indicated, or cut a bit of the producer price and say that, well, we promised giving you this amount, but today the realities are here.
After the price has dropped.
Good. So, but we are still locked in 5,000 something. That's what we are paying for per ton. So what can we do? There should be some negotiation at this stage. Three options left. They all have other consequences. Which one would you want to take? This is where we are starting.
Okay. Just 1 minute. I just want to clarify that it is not true that we haven't been selling. And what we have now in unsold stocks is 50,000 tons. 50,000, that's what we currently have. That's why I told you we've done like 90% so far. What we also have a situation, it's not like a monthly salary, like a monthly payment, if you read like that. So they've actually been paying, COCOBOD has been paying. At 10 a.m. this morning, COCOBOD is going to address the media and put out these facts and figures as verifiable. Just to say that February alone, the payment, $620 million, have been paid to our cocoa farmers. And so it cannot be true that COCOBOD is not selling. But we also do know that there are some criminal activities going on, and they will be exposed, and the persons behind them will be exposed to them.
Thank you very much.